topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Dallas, Fort Worth. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the top experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. This is the last Wednesday of the month, and that means Elite Care Clinic, probably one of the sweetest, most knowledgeable, I'm such a suck-up, doctors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let me introduce you to our favorite, Dr. Gamboa.
Hi, Steve. Thank you. Thank you for such a nice intro. Thanks.
Oh, you deserve it. I got to tell you, I look, when you do about 50 shows a month, sometimes you go, oh, gosh, I got another show. But when I see Elite Care Clinic, I went, oh, this is like the easiest show in the world to do. And I was telling you right before the show, we got in about, because we promote the show 2 days out, we got about 25 emails of questions, and I had to really go through them because there's no way that we can get 25 questions on there. I think you'll like the questions that I picked out, but I just want to thank all of our listeners for taking the time to write the questions. And Dr. Gamboa, I got to tell you, people, our listeners love you. I hope you're with us forever.
Thank you so much, Steve. And I'm so thankful also for everyone that's listening there, sending your questions, taking the time to do that. I really appreciate it. Steve and I, we're going to try as much as we can to respond and answer all of them. If it's not this show, he's going to save the other ones, and then little by little, we're going to get them to get all your questions answered as much as I can.
Hey, Dr. Gamboa, tell everybody about Elite Care Clinic and where you're located at.
Sure. Elite Care Clinic is a family medicine clinic that it's in the Las Colinas area. But I not only do family medicine, I also take care of the whole person, the wellness. I do hormone replacement. And now also I'm doing more cosmetic aesthetic things, more for facial rejuvenation. I'm trying to always look for treatments that are less invasive, but also make you look younger, and we age gracefully. That's what we want. We don't want to look so different than what we were before, but we just we know we're going to age. There's no question about it, but at least we want to age gracefully, and we want to look as natural as possible and looking beautiful in and out.
Well, I got to tell you, I one of the questions that I pulled out was about anti-aging, but this first question is so perfect for what you just said. The first question is, what is functional and wellness medicine? I keep hearing that phrase. Mm-hmm. What is that?
So basically, functional medicine is, as it tells you, it's we have to talk about all the functions of your body, and we talk about all the way your body functions. So we have to make sure that your thyroid is working properly and your digestive system is working properly. So all the organs start working fine, and we take care of everything. It's not only a specialist, specialists are only like let's say like cardiologists are mostly on the heart, but the cardiologist is not going to really pay more attention to the hormones, so but as we do like the functional, the wellness, we take care of everything that it's in there. We not only take care of one issue, like we everything is it's tied together, for just to give you an example. So whenever you have like low iron, your iron is needed to convert one of the thyroid hormones. So like if you have low iron, your thyroid hormone starts not working well, you start feeling fatigue, you start gaining weight. So everything starts like tying together. So everything is related. Whenever you have low vitamin B12, the same thing happens. Your nervous system like has issues, like your energy has issues. So like everything works together. So that's why we call it functional, because we take care of all the function, we take care of all the whole person.
Dr. Gamboa, I thought about a great show to do. My doctor wanted me to take multivitamins. And when you go to the store to look at multivitamins, it gives you so many choices. And you really don't know. Well, is there enough zinc in here? Is there enough vitamin C? And I think we could probably do a show just on supplements, on things that you should look for, not necessarily the name brand, but what things you should look for to make sure there's enough of. I think we could do a whole show on that, couldn't we?
Yeah, like there's a lot of like excellent supplements, like Steve, and I love supplements because like there are supplements that are going to help control your cortisol levels in a natural way. They're going to bring them down. That cortisol is the stress hormone. So who's not stressed these days?
Yeah,
And then
right.
we all have like stress at different levels, and we all deal with stress in different ways. Some people are going to get affected more than others. Like cortisol is going to make your blood pressure go up, is going to make your insulin resistance worsen, is going to give you those cravings. So it's going to make you not sleep well. If you don't sleep well, then your hunger hormone goes up. So everything is related. So if we in a natural way help you like bring those cortisol levels down, then like everything is gonna get better, because like whenever you're wired up in the day because of stress, or like a coworker, or like your boss, or all the things that causes us stress, then it's very difficult to just get home and all this like build up that you have, that it's not like a switch that we're going to turn it off and we're going to be able to go to sleep. That's why a lot of people are not able to sleep. They are still like in their minds. They say, oh, my mind cannot turn off because of all this
Right.
like problems that we're having in the day, so if we calm it down in a different way, then and in a natural way, then at night it's going to be much easier. We can add something also, it's like called L-theanine, that is a derivative of the green tea, that helps tremendously with anxiety, irritability. So the Relora, that's the one that I was mentioning to you before, to lower your cortisol levels. Whenever you pair it with L-theanine, then that's a great combination, and those are supplements. Then we can talk about supplements for replacement of the vitamins, because vitamins, with vitamins, we have to be like the Goldilocks. So we cannot, too much is bad, too little is bad. So we
Yes.
have to make sure that we have just the right amount of vitamins, and that goes along with vitamin B12. So some people think, and also like this is kind of like funny, because I'm like, as everyone knows, like I'm like a Hispanic heritage. Hispanics love vitamin B12 shots. So whenever they feel like low energy, a vitamin B12 shot, But with vitamin B12, like it's like we have a limit, like we cannot just be having tons of vitamin B12. It's not really going to help you. So we definitely have to have like a balance, like it doesn't have to be too low or too high. We have to make sure that we have enough. Same thing with the iron. Your hair loves iron, your thyroid needs iron, your red blood cells need iron. So many things that we can talk about supplements, but they are very important.
So the other day I went to the doctor and he said I'm lacking vitamin D. I'm going to write you a prescription. What is the difference in that vitamin D versus the vitamin D you buy in a supplement?
So that's a very good question. So whenever we prescribe, first of all, that vitamin D is so important with your immune system. We saw it on COVID.
Mm.
It brought it to the light because before we used to think, oh, vitamin D is great for my bones. But whenever like COVID hit and we started seeing that people that they were having vitamin D deficiency or very low levels of vitamin D, like they were having worse outcomes whenever like they were having COVID. So then we started like doing more and more research. Like we know how vitamin D is so important for the immune system, your bones, your muscles, not only for this, but also it's important for like some people with depression. They can have like low vitamin D levels, fatigue, so whenever it's below 30, then it's like an deficiency. So whenever like it's below 30, then we have to give you a prescription. And the prescription is like a very high dose of vitamin D.
Oh,
And that's a
okay.
vitamin D2 that is like 50,000 units that we give you every week. And we do this for 8 weeks. Once you finish this, you have to maintain it with over-the-counter supplements to maintain those levels. Because if you just stop taking those high levels, then eventually those levels are going to go down again, and you have to
Mm.
maintain those. So ideal or
Yes, right.
optimal
Mine's
levels,
a weekly. I was
yes.
surprised. Mine's take it
Yes, and
once a
that's
week.
because of like exactly. And you take it for 8 weeks, and once you finish it, then you take over the counter vitamin D3 because that's the one that absorbs better as an over the counter one. And then that one you have to take it at least 5,000 units to maintain good levels and to get in the optimal level. Optimal levels, we want the vitamin D to be between 60 and 80. And also, the other thing that now we understand better is that we always have to pair it with vitamin K2. The vitamin K2 is a vital vitamin to help the vitamin D direct your calcium towards your bones. So that's a very great combination, vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. So that's going to be way better to for your bones and to direct the calcium where it's supposed to go.
We had a lady who wrote us great letter. She wanted to know when you're going to hire another doctor to help the overflow. She said, I love your show. I never miss your show. I am
Thank you.
67 years old. I have a hard time sleeping at night. But the
Mhm.
reason I'm writing you is I eat very, very little and I can never lose weight. I actually gain weight. Is that from being having insufficient cortisol like you talk about?
No, like unfortunately, what's happening, like the weight gain that you're talking about, is most likely a combination of things. Number one is yes, you're 67, like obviously, like you're probably approximately 10 years from menopause. So what happens is as the estrogen levels go down, the testosterone levels go down. So then your insulin resistance goes up. That's why also like after menopause, women develop a little belly and around their area that, and they used to say, oh, I never used to have this before, but that's because the insulin resistant, the estrogen levels go down, the testosterone goes down. So then that's one reason. The other reason is most likely you are eating too little. And because by eating too little, you're too restrictive. So what happens is your body then says, this lady is giving me too little calories, so I better be in my hibernation. I better save and decrease all
Ah,
my metabolic rate to save energy as much as possible. And then she eats little and she gains weight. So that's what we have to avoid doing. We have to like make sure that we have at least a decent amount of calories, like at least like 1,200, 1,500 calories. But make sure that you also like big part of those calories be protein. Increase your protein, because also as we get older, as our testosterone levels go down, our muscle mass goes down. So like we have to make sure that we replace that protein to help build the muscle, and try to do as much as resistant exercises as much as you can. But in your case, I should recheck your thyroid, your hormones for sure, and especially your thyroid, and see also your iron levels, and see like all this to help you like what else is going on. I don't think that the cortisol could be a problem, but it may. So we have to check also your sugar levels. So all these other things that we can look at.
Well, I just looked over our chat line. We're getting a lot of questions over there, and I see you've already answered them.
Yeah, I did some.
What's an NAD shot?
So the NAD, like I'm gonna tell you, like the I like have like trouble pronunciation this, so like I'll tell you in a minute. So it's like
That's
it's like nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So
oh,
what is this? This is a
okay.
mouthful. So that's why we call it NAD. So like
Yeah.
basically this this is like this been coming out because like there are these injections that are coming out. And what do they do, these injections? Basically the NAD is a coenzyme that we find it in all the cells because it plays a vital role, like very very important role, like because it's part of like it helps our for the production of energy in the mitochondria. The mitochondria, as you know, is kind of like our energy, like making part of the cell. So like the NAD is a coenzyme. So like it means that it's going to help us produce our energy, you know? So, and they come up with injections, you know, and the injections like, they give you like a sub-Q injections, and those are the best ones that are the ones that are going to work the best for you. Because what I was reading is that if you take it by mouth, it's not really going to help you much. It's not going to absorb as much. The best of every all of this is like an IV drip. The problem with this is that number one is very expensive, and number two
The
is
IV
like
drip
also.
is
I'm sorry.
the IV drip's expensive.
Yes, so the IV drip, it would be expensive for this, and then also it is very takes time because you need at least 6 hours of like being like sitting down, like to have this
Wow.
like dripping and all that. So, but that's what happens with the NAD, you know. But it's being used a lot, and a lot of people that they use it, they love it because they say that it's like it's kind of like helps with their energy, and then also like promotes like their kind of like with their kind of anti-aging, you would say. It's like it gives you like fuel for your cells, so like it kind of like helps that.
You know, I'm going to ask this because we have gotten so many questions. People, because Dr. Gamboa, our show's been running almost a year and a half now, and people really trust what you say. People want to know, how did you treat COVID
So how do
for
I
your
treat now?
patients? How did you when COVID
So
was?
so it's like it was kind of like I did a lot of things, to be honest with you. As we all of us, we didn't really know how to treat it at the beginning. Whenever
Exactly.
they didn't have like all this Paxlovid or anything.
Right.
So I really, I know there's going to be a lot of controversy about this, but I really like to follow this one of these doctors. I am blocking his last name, but he ran the ICU like in Houston,
hmm
and I was following him, and he was having this nice, very nice protocol. And I know it's controversial, but it was the ivermectin. They were using
Yes.
quercetin. They were using vitamin D. They were using vitamin C. They were using zinc. So I
See?
really was following that protocol because I was seeing a lot of improvement, even though like some people don't believe in ivermectin. Like for some people was working it, and then
hmm
I am going to have a lot of like different opinions in this, and especially like some doctors that are like, oh, that was proven, it doesn't work. But I saw that if you started very early, it was helping people, you know. And then in countries that they were not having all this in vaccines, they were not having a lot of like in South America, for example, like in my country, back in my country is Bolivia. So they used ivermectin, and they were like, that's the only thing they had. And honestly, I was seeing that it was working. Again, there's going to be a lot of like people that are going to be
Not
against this,
anymore, Dr.
but
Gamboa. Not anymore. Hey,
but
a lot of those doctors that we laughed at turned out to be smarter than all of us.
So like so it was working, and then until we were not able to give ivermectin anymore, then that's whenever we stopped it, because unfortunately, like physicians that they were writing ivermectin, they were being called by the board, and it was pretty
Yes,
scary times, like they were like doing this, but that's how I was treating it before we had any of this.
I got to tell you, I got COVID so bad. I didn't even know if I was going to live. And I found a doctor in uh, right outside Miami, and he gave me a cocktail. That's what he called it,
Yeah.
a cocktail. And it had everything that you just
Yeah, because
mentioned.
that was like that protocol that this doctor in the
That
ICU was having, I think it was like, I have to remember, it was like a collision or something like that, because he was following that, and he was an ICU doctor being with those people in the
right.
ventilator, and he was not really getting sick, and he was like helping them, and he was seeing that they were getting better. So that's how they came up with that protocol, and it was helping them.
In
So
2 days after I did this cocktail, I felt so good. And I felt sorry for a lot of the people that did not take this cocktail, because I think it would have saved a lot of lives. And there was actually a doctor in Dallas. I don't remember her name. Oh, she got so much flack about this. I mean, they almost arrested her, and she turned out to be right. And it's so sad. And I hope, God forbid, this never, whether it's COVID or anything else, but we really need to listen. Doctors like who do functional medicine, um, that we've got to start listening more and stop, because I got to tell you that a lot of people lost their lives, but we get a lot of letters of people just want to know how you treated it when you had your patients.
yeah, so that's what I was doing, like trying, because we didn't know much of, we didn't have a lot of information, we didn't know, so
Exactly.
we were trying to do as best as we could with what we had, and then also with all these natural things that we knew they were against the, I mean, number one, boosting your immune system, and number two, like killing like virals like the quercetin, that's kind of like antiviral properties, and boosting your immune system with vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, then like we were giving your body the chance to fight back and then help your body with this, so but yeah, so that's how we treated at that
Wow.
time. Scary times at that time, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. We've got about 3 minutes left. I want to get this question in because we get a lot of this. What do you tell your patients that are stressed out? What do you tell them to make is there anything they can take or to level them out where they're
So
not so stressed? Besides,
yeah.
stop watching the news.
Exactly. That's number one.
Yeah,
Number two,
yeah.
we can do like the supplement that I was talking to you about to help them decrease the cortisol, because that stress is going to increase the cortisol. The next thing is like the L-theanine that is going to decrease that irritability and is going to help them sleep. Magnesium will also help you relax at night, because if you don't have a restful sleep, then it's going to, that stress is going to be worse. The cortisol levels are going to be worse. Everything is going to get worse. So we have to restore that sleep. That we can add melatonin, that is excellent to help you go like into deep sleep. Whenever we have deep sleep, we let our lymphatic system, that's the cleaning crew basically from your brain, to get rid of all the toxins from your neurons and everything. So like we have to like have a restful sleep, and then also like try to walk around, try to do some exercise, relaxation techniques, yoga, all box breathing that I mentioned that in previously, like it's like 4 minutes, you like 4 seconds to take a deep breath, you hold it for 4 seconds, you exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold it there for 4 seconds. If you do this throughout the day or whenever you're driving, like that's going to help you tremendously bring down that sympathetic system that we have that is causing all this problems.
Uh, We got a minute left. Is the B shot like the small needle?
I don't know if I understand that
I don't
question.
know it.
Like the B shot, I don't know if they're meant talking about like the vitamin B12 shot,
Yes.
or so I don't really understand.
Maybe they can write us and we'll ask Dr. Gamboa next time. Tell people how they can find your website.
Sure, like it's like elitecare-clinic.com. And then also like if like you follow us, we are in Facebook, the Instagram, and I started doing like this. We started doing a little bit of TikToks. I'm not the greatest on that, but we are trying to do that. Like all this more information. It's better.
Well, we are so blessed to have you. Dr.
Thank you,
Gamboa,
Steve.
thank you so much. And we're going to be repeating this show again next week. We repeat her show after her live show, but she's with us the last Wednesday of the month. Dr. Gamboa, have a blessed week, and we'll see you next month.
Thank you, you guys too, and thank you so much for everyone that
We
listens.
love
Thank
you.
you.
God
Thank
bless.
you. Bye-bye.
That's Dr. Daniela Gamboa, amazing doctor. We love her. That's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next week with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.